Well, it's different. I don't know if weird's the right word. It's not happened before. You're at the end of the season and you haven't ever played these people. Typically, you've had a prep and you've gone through it and you've got a win or a loss, and now you're playing. The interesting thing is, of the four teams that are playing that haven't done it, everybody's got a lot to play for. So, it won't be like they're playing for nothing scenario.
Right. What are your impressions of Utah?
Very good, very well coached. Really run things at a very high pace. He's got them buying into what he's trying to do. The kids, the right kid, probably one of the top three kids in the conference in terms of his impact on games. Great get for them. Yeah, he's a very, very good player. He's, if you want to nitpick, he's probably not a pure perimeter shooter, but he's big, he defends, he's smart, he really understands the game and how it operates, and he's a good passer, so, he's a potential triple-double guy at any time. The other night against Colorado, they played three big guys at one position, 3 5s, total 42 minutes, so obviously they played one of them together with another, had 12 fouls. All three of them had 4 fouls. So they're obviously playing very physical at the post. And then Leverage, Taylor, Wright all played 38 minutes. And then the other position on the floor is the 3 position, which they mess with a little bit. So
they're still a little inexperienced in the ways of success. Does that explain some of their difficulties on the road, do you think?
No, they've played close. They've had close games, overtime games. I don't. They've had 7 road games in league. They haven't played a lot of road games. They played their home schedule was no road games. So, yeah, so they didn't get any experience there. And then they've got into league. And as we've mentioned, the league's hard. This is a tough league. It's a tough place to get a win. We kind of down a little bit about the way we've played, but gosh almighty, I don't know. I don't know who goes into Arizona State. Arizona wins right now, so we just gotta get our heads right and come back and try to do what we can do to win a couple games.
You mentioned after I think the ASU game that you didn't think your team's making a lot of connecting passes. The ball's kind of making a pass and it sort of sits.
Yeah, we're holding the ball too long.
Yeah, you were much better at that early in the season. What's the key to getting back to doing that?
Probably a little bit better understanding of what we're trying to do offensively and trusting each other a little bit more. We've had a hard time on and off all season long making the pass that leads to the pass or even leads to the pass then. It's pretty much everybody's trying to make the terminating play, and as a result the ball's stopping and it makes us easier to guard. And part of it is guy's not sure who's going to make what play or who's going to make a shot or who's going to catch the ball, so the ball stops a little bit. We've got to get the ball moving, and we've got to get more stuff off the break. We've got to defend and go and get some of the easy stuff off the break. We're putting a lot of pressure on our half-court offense, and it's been hard on us.
And that, you said, starts with defending better?
Well, we defended really well in the first half against Arizona State, for example. We did exactly what we wanted to do. We made 2 mistakes, one in transition and one at the end of the half where we lost vision of a shooter. And to their credit, they knocked it down. It wasn't like they missed it. They made them. So we should have been ahead in the first half, and we weren't. So we did exactly what we wanted. We had a few more breakdowns in the second half. But we can't pitch a shutout. But we've got to be as good as we can be defensively as far as not breaking down and giving up easy plays and hopefully get out on the break a little bit more. And we've got to shore up our break. Our break is it's all of a sudden it's become a jailbreak rather than an organized break with people going to spots where they can be found. We've got to get back to knowing where people are and making the right decision. Said from the get-go that offense is about decision-making, defense is about heart and effort. And those are the 2 areas we're going to emphasize.
Do you have an explanation for why Richard has sort of hit a rough
Wish I did. I wish I had an explanation for him and get him to solve it. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. I think he recognizes the season's almost over, and he's putting pressure on himself, and as a result, he's kind of reverted back to doing some of the things that he did early on that weren't very successful for him. So, at the end of the day, he's for us to be successful, he's got to be able to be successful, and he just needs to relax and make plays.
Is it a kind of a combination of him getting himself in foul trouble at times, and also offense seems like he's rushed again like he used to be?
That's what I'm saying. Reverted to the, rather than play above people, he should get a couple off the break. He should get a couple off the offensive glass. He should maybe get a couple in offense, and you throw all that stuff together, and you've got double figures, and you're fine. Bashinsky's a load. Tarzuski's a load. Those are big guys, and he's having to match up with the big, most physical guys in the league, and it's been a little bit difficult for him.
Mike, can you talk about a little about your three seniors as they push over a couple last home games here? Just each have their own unique story, obviously, but just another reflections or legacy of each of them.
Well, Richard's come a long way. Love to see him finish off. He started off good, and everybody kept remarking about how much Richard had improved and how, and now he's kind of gone a little bit backwards in that regard. So I'd love to see him come out and finish the last two home games and show that progress and have him some feel good. But he has matured in a lot of different ways. He's gone through a lot of adversity, which is part of what college is all about and growing up. Justin has been really good for us. He's a fifth-year guy. He too has matured in terms of his approach and what he's trying to do. I mean, he's got some things he doesn't. Everybody'd like to see him do differently, perhaps, but he's not a pure point guard. He's a combo guard. He's a scoring guard, and so there's been a lot of games he's won for us, and then of course Jeff Powers has had a tough time. I mean, he came in here and transferred in from Denver, and he's had some big games and some bright moments, and he's hung in there. He's on track to graduate, and it's been very, very valuable in terms of being able to plug him into certain spots in this thing. It's been hard athletically for him. It's he's just on the verge of not quite being big enough to be a 4, not quite quick enough to be a 3, but he's done a real good job of filling in. He's got great knowledge of the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up coaching someday.
Entering these last two games, despite the ups and downs of the season, when you look back, but where do you feel that the team is at mentally, and where the confidence level is at?
Probably not great. Probably struggling a little bit. I don't. It's hard to lose. I think they try as they might, they need some feel good. They need to have some success. They need to have a shot go down. They need to have a play go their way, and that would go a long ways. But that's where adversity brings out your character. You're going to have to fight through adversity. The thing is, we knew going into the stretch of games that we had that, just looking on paper, that you're going to have a hard time winning at Arizona State. And that proved to be the case. We knew UCLA was very good. So it's been a stretch of games that a lot of people in our position are not going to win, and we didn't. So it's not anything that's different from anybody else. It's just you have to recognize that we can still finish third, and it's just up to us and to see if we can make it happen.
Statistically, Utah is way up there in the defensive, the field goal percentage and scoring. And what do they do defensively?
Very active. There's all of a sudden all these NBA guys are showing up, and you're seeing a lot of influence, the NBA influence, in terms of how they're playing ball screens and some of that stuff. And Utah's doing that in terms of blocking side ball screens or downing them or whatever you want to call it. And, that's not a bad way to play. If you start off with that premise that you could do that, there's some things you have to do differently when you play against it. And Larry's, like I say, Larry's done a really good job of getting his guys to buy into what he's doing. So they're very active. You know, a guy like DeLon Wright is really a good player, just across the board. He's got length and size, and so they switch defenses, kind of keep you off balance. They'll show a zone. They'll show, you know, they could triangle in two. They could box in one. They could soft switch man, trying to keep you off balance in terms of your rhythm. So you really got to stay disciplined.
You ride a little bit like Kyle Weaver a couple years ago at Washington State.
Yeah, not a bad comparison. He's got length. I would say DeLon might be a little bit better creator offensively in terms of what he does, but some similarities, yeah.